Oh, be more for real in the building, man. You already know what time it is. Be more for real, rated R for reality. Oh my goodness, man. Another Wednesday, just another Wednesday. We appreciate you guys for joining us, man. It's the realest conversations on the internet, realest conversations on the net. Rated R for reality, man. Let's clap it up one time for Be More for Real in the building, man. Be More for Real in the building. Nice new look we got going on here. I know y'all already see it, man. It looks nice. It looks lovely. Little background. Um, it's always a blessing to be able to upgrade, especially architecture and things of that nature. Shout out Real Explosion because they make it happen. Without Real Explosion, we wouldn't be a show right now. So Be More for Real, brought to you by way of Real Explosions. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. One of the realest Wednesdays. So I see we already do have a Instagram comment, and today I'm doing something a little different. I'm doing something a little different. I'm actually watching I'm watching the Instagram from my phone, so I can see some Instagram comments and things of that nature. But I would encourage each and every single person that's watching on Instagram. We appreciate you guys, but make sure y'all go over to our YouTube and like, share, and subscribe if it's your first time. And definitely, we appreciate you. Be more part. We're gonna go ahead and shout it out for you guys as well. Yeah, he said looks good, fam. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. All praises to the Most High, of course, and much appreciation to Real Explosion. They the ones that make it happen behind the scenes all the time. So we appreciate you guys. Also, we're gonna go right ahead over there to the Be More for Real moment. I had a birthday yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday. I just entered into the 30s, so shout out my parents for making this creation and making this happen. But shout out my parents, man. I wouldn't be here without them either. You know what I'm saying? None of this literally would happen without them. So shout out to my parents. Rest in peace to my parents as well. I wish I could have shared this occasion with my parents, but neither one of them here. And that's just a Be More for Real moment. Hey, that's life. But I'm appreciative. All praises to the Most High for another year. And it's Be More for Real. We got another Wednesday, man. This is like a wonderful Wednesday, especially after my birthday. It's gonna be a wonderful Wednesday for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. J Mez 9, yeah, he said happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday, man. We appreciate that, man. They say happy birthday. We appreciate that for real, man. We're gonna go ahead and shout y'all out, man. Shout out J9 too, man. We'll go ahead and shout y'all out. But the realest conversation is still here with you, locked and loaded. Uncle Wayne, of course, couldn't be here today, but shout out Uncle Wayne. You already know how we rocking and rolling. You know what I'm saying? The show keep going on, but we wish you the best. We hope you could be here and celebrate this occasion. But look, we appreciate all you guys. I'm gonna go ahead right into one of the segments that I wanted to talk about on a Be More for Real tip. You know, and that's going back to last week. And we know our quality was messed up last week too. So look, we got it together this week. This week we got it together. We know our quality was a little messed up and distorted, but look, we're getting some things together and in order. So we definitely appreciate everybody that's here with us. Um, let's go ahead over to what we were talking about last week, and I wanted to make sure I stress this on a Be More for Real moment. You know, Ice Cube, he has his contract with Black America, and the NFL actually gave $100 million in 2022 to that cause for the contract for Black America. And as you guys know, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. Like I said, this program is made to Mic check. Yeah, sorry about that. But this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. So with that being said, Ice Cube has his contract with Black America, and it's going to tie in so lovely for what the topic of the night is for the night. The topic of the night is you guys might say it. I don't know. For some reason, it showed up the same topic as last week with the contract with Black America, but the topic this week is going to be when the government fears the people. Again, the topic of the night is going to be when the government fears the people. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all stay tuned and locked and loaded for that one as well. Keep it locked with us. We got you covered. But as I was talking about on a Be More for Real moment, Ice Cube has this contract with Black America, and it's like we have been divided on so many levels. You know what I'm saying? Like religion and him with the meeting with Trump and Tucker Carlson. A lot of these individuals have met with such people. Even what's his name? Kodak Black. Kodak Black was pardoned, if I'm not mistaken, by uh, Donald Trump. So I know that they are persuading the public opinion on Ice Cube, and I believe is partial of the reason why why I believe what I believe is because he has this contract with Black America. And I'm gonna say that again. Partially why I believe what I believe is because he has this contract with Black America and for Black Americans. And that is the most important thing to me. And coming up on this election, when they're trying to, really persuade the public opinion and they really doing a social engineering in this phase and this time, it's important to actually look and sift through everything that's going on because they're not going to tell you everything. And to be honest with you, a lot of us get discouraged at voting because we don't know how to vote, who to vote for, and what their agenda is, and things of that nature. Listening to social media, we keep hearing the look at the plan for 2025. I was looking at the plan for 2025. I'm not sure how much of that stuff is true and how much is not. So I'm not the type to spread disinformation. So if any of y'all know about the project of 2025, uh, be my guest to comment and let me know what you think. But as I digress, this contract for Black America is very, very important. And the reason why it's very important is because we don't stick together for nothing. We don't have a vote, like I said. It's a lot of things that we don't have. But what we do have is we have the future. We have every day to get better today than we were yesterday. And we need to focus on that. We need to break the barriers and the taboo, not only the barriers, but the taboo of Black people sticking together. The economy and social media and everything is predicated on the demise. I wouldn't say demise, or on the division of Black people. Notice how we the ones that mainly buy all the top Gucci, Louis, Prada. We the main ones that buy that type of material, but we don't have anything in control for ourselves. And it's like we have digressed. I should have brought up that video, right? On that video, on that video, there was a guy. I can't even remember his name. I'm so bad with names. There was a guy though, and he was talking about the baby boomers, and he basically said, I believe the president at the time or somebody that was up there with the president, he was like, "Look, The baby boomers, after the baby boomers, each generation will get progressively worse. That's what he said. He said the baby boomers will be the first time in history that a generation will be worse than the previous generation. And it keeps on progressively getting worse. And like we were saying last week, man, if y'all didn't listen to the show last week, we know the visuals was messed up, but man, that was an awesome show. We talked about a lot and we touched on a lot of subjects, and I wanted to actually stress that on this Be More for Real side, with the contract with Black America. Anyway, as I digress, that fits in absolutely perfect with what this next topic is. I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys this. So as you can see, Baltimore police cop, he's sentenced for trading ghost guns for homicide intel, and he was sharing it with a biker boss and things of that nature. Read that real quick, and you can see what's going on here. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and this going to flow right into the topic of the night. And I'm not going to be before y'all long, but this is very important to stress. This is a interesting thing that's not really talked about, but the people in Baltimore that's been on the streets, we know that the government and the cops and stuff, they are the biggest gang. But I'm gonna flip it on your head for you. I'm gonna flip it on the head for you, right? Check this out. Especially as black people, if you are a judge or police and you black, you might want to show a little bit of empathy for your own people. Because truth be told, when the Asian people and the white people and all that, they have empathy for their own kind. We wonder how sentencing is so lenient for the white man and it's not for the black man. And what's crazy is a lot of times it's your own people in the government when they look like us and they sitting there abusing you, and you know how police be, man. They just get high minded and heavy and high headed, and really they're supposed to be peacemakers, but they're not. And they use that job and that badge as a shield to protect them and ultimately grant them permission to mistreat and abuse people, which is crazy because that guy, I can't remember his name, that shot up that church in South Carolina. He what is his name, Dylan, something like that. Dylan, what happened with him, he was able to get Burger King after the shootings. Kyle Rittenhouse was treating with respect and everything, even though I don't think the person that he killed was black. Correct me if I'm wrong, or I may be wrong, or whatever. Everything I say is not absolutely true. A person that speaks in absolute is an absolute fool. But I'm never above reproach. But anyway, Kyle Rittenhouse, look at the way that they treat these individuals when they commit heinous crimes, and then look at the way they treat us for just walking in their neighborhood. That should be eye opening and eye glaring right there. It's like, no, I'm not trying to play the race card. That's not what it's about. It's not about playing a race card. It's about stating the obvious. It's about stating the obvious, because for a white crime and if a white person was to commit a crime and a black person was to commit that same crime, the penalties are different. And so, like I said, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. And the reason why that's important is because we have our own people. Listen to me closely. Listen to me very closely. Pay attention. We have our own people in places of prominence. They hold offices that are prominent, and 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 they have influence on society, and not only on society but on the laws and yeah. All right, I'm back. Sorry about the interruption. It's live, so there's nothing we can do about that. You guys just should stick with us through it. It's not going to take us long to fix it. But as I digress, you know that these people hold prominent places in society, and they hold prominent places in the law and things like that. And instead of using that to our benefit, and things of that nature, we actually use that to kind of gatekeep. And we had a whole show. I mean, go back. We got a whole catalog. Like, gatekeeping is a term that's It's not frequently used, but it's used enough to where as though people should know what gatekeeping is. And I'm not one to gatekeep definition. So basically, a gatekeeper, and it's not the dictionary definitions by any means. It's not even the urban dictionary definition, but it's not even an urban dictionary definition. But gatekeeping itself is basically someone's guarding someone else's success. They're blocking. They got the door. They're the doorkeepers, and you can't enter and you can't proceed further until they open that door for you. And I had the conversation with Uncle Wayne. Maybe it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was last week, or when I was talking about the case with P Diddy. And I hate to bring his name up, but I mean these people do gatekeep. He didn't make anybody a billionaire, and he obviously did a lot of trifling stuff when he was up there, and it's a reason why it's like that. And I was talking about the Illuminati. We're not even gonna go deep into that rabbit hole. If you missed it, just go back and revisit those episodes. But this is what I'm saying. When you have a police, right? And the police, he know that this young man is 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, maybe even 12, whatever. He might have did something bad. I'm not talking about killing nobody, so don't jump off all the way over on the rail. We're not going to the furthest extreme. But let's say they get petty theft, or let's say whatever these young kids do out here. You know what I'm saying? This cop has the choice on whether or not it's either I'm going to take him to jail and start putting stuff on his record, especially those crimes where, it might be a robbery or something, and, he could be charged as an adult. And instead of charging him as an adult, maybe you give him a lighter sentence. I'm not saying just let him go and give him a slap on the wrist, but have some leniency on your people. Does that not make sense with all of the disparities and discrepancies that's going on with the health industry, especially in regards to the health of Black women? The birth rates or their death rates while giving birth, is like 2 to 3 times more than any other race. So even in the health field, we have people that's like doctors and all that stuff, and I guess they think that they are too high and mighty and above reproach that they can't even deal with the common folk, let alone their own people. And that's gatekeeping as well. I mean, like, that mentality is not being taught. But like I said, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. So, of course, we haven't had that conversation about not looking down on your people because, we too busy keeping up with the Joneses. And we do it in the most unproductive way ever as a people. And that's not to throw shots at us. Look, we'll get it together. We are great as a people. As a matter of fact, we do great things. A lot of things in this society came from our own people, from the cotton gin press to the peanut butter to the hair botanicals to the commode, the toilet seat. I mean, look at the inventions. Look at everything worldwide. Look at civilization. Civilization having come from our ancestors in Africa who has built civilization from the very inception of the world. And look at that greatness. And I know we have tapped into a lot of that greatness, but what they don't tell you is that it's like the whole world hates you, but they like you at the same time. Look at the influence that we have on the entire world. Look at everybody else rapping and all that stuff and dressing and acting like us. Look at other cultures doing that. And I'm not saying that they're culture vultures. That's not what I'm saying. That's a topic for another time. But what I'm saying is look at the influence, but then also look at the treatment and how we're treated. Look at how Black people were treated in China. Look at what happened in Ukraine when the Ukraine started going into war with Russia and how they treated the Black people that was trying to leave the country. Now look at that and tell me that the world doesn't have a conspiracy against our people. And then I will call you a liar 100 times over. You got proof after proof after proof after proof, and yet we do nothing. It's like we weak and feeble-minded as a people, and we're not. We're actually brilliant. We're actually kings, and we actually come from a long lineage of success. Brother Wendell, man, I saw you live yesterday. I appreciate you. He said, "My God, you already know." We come from a long list and a long line of greatness, and I'm saying that we could tap into that greatness. Is that greatness hasn't went anywhere? That greatness is still inside of us. We just have to tap into it. So that would be my thing about the government. And like I said, I'm not going to be before you guys long, for obvious reasons. It's just myself. But this conversation yet and still needs to be had. You know, when black people are in places of prominence and position of prominence, what are you doing to help your people? A lot of people said, "How do you feel about Barack Obama?" Right? They asked how you feel about Barack Obama. But then notice how the first thing a black person to say was, "Oh, I don't care nothing about Obama. Obama ain't never did nothing for black folks. He ain't never did nothing for black folks." And but check this out: when Clinton and Bush and even including Trump, giving all his tax breaks to all the rich people who are predominantly white, looking out for his people, we we can't do that. It's like taboo, and it's almost like reverse racism. It's almost like we'll be racist if we say, "Look, I'm running for president, and hell yeah, I want to look out for my people." That's taboo, and you'll have other black people that play that like Uncle Tom role, and it's really maybe not Uncle Tom. We got to do the research on Uncle Tom as well, and not just call people Uncle Toms. But you got people that's playing that Samuel L. Jackson role and Django to our folk. And they like, look, well, he did it, he did this, he'll tell, and he'll do anything to be on their side. And we're always going to have people like that. It's just a matter of us controlling our image and things like that. Like if you're gonna be over there, be over there. But if you're gonna be over here, you're gonna be over here. You can't serve two masters. You're gonna love one and hate the other. It's just physically impossible. So we as a people, as a culture, we got to get out of that mind state. We got to deprogram and decondition ourselves against that. That is our fight against society, because society is definitely controlling our image. Look at this. Let me tell you this. When we said this last week, with each passing generation of music, the music get worse and worse. You would think with the technology, with all of the knowledge that we have readily available at our fingertips, you would think that with all these materials, we would get better with the music and things like that. No, it's getting worse. You would think that the movies would get better. No, they're getting worse. They're getting more vulgar and things like that, especially when it comes to things of the culture, quote unquote. So that is that is uh that is a major turnoff for me. You know what I'm saying? As a culture, we are way overrepresented in one area and way underrepresented in other areas. Look at how black people are, black men especially, are 40% of U.S. jails. We are 13, 14% of U.S. population. So literally, mathematically, that's at least 3 times overrepresented in that area. If you were to multiply 14 times 3, which is where I got that from, you will get 42. I'm not trying to say people slow. I'm just, in case you don't know, if you was to multiply 14, let's just say 13% of U.S. population. 13 times 3, 39%. We are 40% of U.S. jails. We are over 3 times more represented in the prison culture and industry. But when you look at black businesses, and don't take my word for it, actually do the research, Google it. Black businesses are less than 2% of businesses in America. And so that was what Ice Cube's contract with Black America is and was about. His contract with Black America is about evening up the odds. Look, if we 13%, we need to be equally represented in politics, because it's not a lot of black mayors and lawyers and doctors and teachers. There's not a lot of black people in those fields, especially black men, period. So that's why we still to this day have a lot of people that saying this is the first black person to accomplish this goal. This is the first black person to accomplish that goal. Still till today in 2024. So we can look at it like, oh, this is the age of, this is the same thing that we've been heard, we've been saw it, and everybody been talking about it. I mean, some things are cliche, but some things are worth paying attention to. And our ancestors try to drill it home to us. And I don't think we gave them enough credit for what they were trying to do and instill in us going forward as a people. So I will say this emphatically, and I will make this statement emphatically. I will say that black people in prominent places, especially the policemen, especially the judges, especially the lawyers, especially the doctors, you better have some empathy for your people. You better look out for your people, and that's a Be More for Real moment, man. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. Big brother Lou Abel, he with us, man. He said, "Peace, man. We appreciate you, Lou Abel. We're gonna clap it up for you as well." We'll clap it up for you as well. Also, for our Instagram viewers, if you're viewing us on Instagram, today and for the last few weeks, we've been on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Our Facebook is having trouble connecting. We'll get that resolved. But if you on Instagram and you would like to comment and you would like us to see the comment, especially put your comment up on the screen, go head over to our YouTube, like the live. If you're looking on our live stream, definitely like the live so we can get into that algorithm. We're on our road to 1K. Realist conversations on the net, and we appreciate you guys for that, man. And we're gonna go ahead and clap it up. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. Now, as I digress, the topic of the night, we're gonna go ahead right into it. Topic of the night: when the government fears the people. So since I was already here, and I showed you guys certain things that has been going on in the community, um, like the Baltimore City police officer who was charged with actually exchanging information and intel and stuff like that. And people wonder why and how homicides happen the way they do on the streets. I'm telling you, there are people top to bottom that's involved in this thing. And until we start to face evil in this face, these things going to be reoccurring, and they're going to keep on occurring because we choose not to address them. It's like being stabbed or shot and not addressing that wound and where you've been stabbed or shot at. So this is me addressing the wound, making sure that we know where the wound is. I'm not addressing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just pointing out, look, we've been shot here, we've been stabbed here. That's what I'm doing here. You know what I'm saying? But as I digress, when the government fears the people, there is liberty. And when the people fear the government, there's tyranny. Now that is a quote given by none other than Thomas Jefferson, one of the elitist founding fathers of this country. A lot of us know Thomas Jefferson from the history books because they make sure that we know about people as such. Now, what's fascinating to me is when we go to apply what's being said. See, I'm a man of reasoning, and this is why I do things the way I do, and this is why I talk the way that I do. Because when you reason, right, reason is actually the application of knowledge, which is where you get wisdom from. See, a lot of us just argue. That's low level reasoning. Us just going back and forth and exchanging words. That's the lowest form of reasoning. They call that first level reasoning, just to argue and go back and forth. The second level of reasoning, which is a higher form of reasoning, is the subliminal way of reasoning. That would be through arts and craft. That would be through music. That would be through movies and other forms of entertainment and crafts. That's another way of actually getting your point across through your craft. And the Illuminati knows a lot about that. Ka-ching! Cough, cough. But anyway, as I digress, the highest form of reasoning is what they call the kitchen table level form of reasoning. And on this kitchen table level, that's just taking what you said. Okay, you said this work. We're gonna take what you said. We're gonna put this on the kitchen table, and we're gonna apply. We're gonna apply what you're saying to real life, and we're gonna test it and see if it makes sense. And now that is the most effective way of reasoning. And the reason why I say that is because when the government fears the people, there's liberty. But when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. So let's put this in perspective. When did the government actually fear the people? When was that time? Was it during before the Revolutionary War or after the Revolutionary War? Like, when was it? That's the question. When? And then we all know now. Let me go back. Hold. Rewind. Let me go back. What we know now is that the government daggone sure does not fear the people. We know that based on that statement, it said when the government fears the people, which it does not, it said there is liberty. So one could assume based off of that statement, if we go ahead and apply it, that we don't have the liberty expressed in that quote. At least I'm not saying that we're not free. There's a lot of things that goes on in this country that make me want to be in this country instead of any other country in the world. Now, as I digress, though, the government does not fear the people. So, based on that statement by Thomas Jefferson, if we just dissect it backwards and go ahead and reason on the kitchen table level, the government does not fear the people. So he said, when the government fears the people, there's liberty. Okay, so we don't have some liberties, or at least the liberty expressed in that quote. Does that make sense? Let me know if I'm losing something here. If the government does not fear the people, then there cannot be some type of liberty. And I know, and I appreciate Brother Wendell for joining the stream. We have people that are really trying to make a difference in the city. Uncle Wayne ran for mayor. Wendell Freeman ran for mayor. Tory Rose, she ran for councilwoman District 7, and things of that nature. We have people that are making strides to facilitate the people, but our people don't make it in there for some reason. We're not paying attention enough to them. We are always persuaded by the government, and which is fascinating because the entertainment, the news, all that stuff, it goes through the CIA. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Look, it's BMore4Real. If I'm lying, I am flying. The CIA and the government have their hands in entertainment and the news, and we wonder why certain things get pushed and other things don't. That is why a lot of people just in the city of Baltimore alone just thought Sheila Dixon and Brandon Scott was running for mayor. You want to know why? First of all, because you're not subscribed to Be More For Real. Because if you did, you would know we had a lot more candidates just on this platform alone. We had 7, 8, 9, 10 candidates all running that were all running for mayor that stood up here on this very platform and told us their agendas so we can at least have a knowledgeable vote and be knowledgeable of who's out there for us. Now, as I digress once again, so the second part of the Thomas Jefferson quote, he said, "But when the people fear the government, there is tyranny." And boy, oh boy, are we living in a tyrannical world in the United States. I mean, it's absolutely diabolical the things that are going on, and a lot of people don't talk about it. But even the community that wants us to acknowledge them for something as if they were not. There's a quote, and I mean, I'm not sorry that I'm saying what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not sorry about saying whatever you got to say and being free. If this is a free country and we got freedom of speech, I'm gonna say what I got to say. Somebody, a wise man, and I really don't know who said this, but a wise man once said, they said, "You want me to accept you for who you are, but you couldn't even accept yourself for who you are." And I was just like, bing! Let's get a round of applause for that. Let's give a round of applause for that. So, I mean, like, the stuff that's going on in America is tyrannical. It's straight up tyrannical. Look at the presidential debates that happened before Trump, when Trump got in office the first time. Their debates, it seemed like little kids was arguing, even with him and Hillary Clinton and everything. It's just like, dang, these are leaders of the country. These the ones that they're supposed to lead us. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that's going on now. It's like a circus act or something like that, and it's made to draw us in. Notice how I'm gonna hit y'all in the head with this one. Notice how the internet is called the internet. I said this last week, I think too. The internet is called the internet. Now think about that. A net is used to trap bait and food and stuff like that. Or a net, like in basketball, you got to score the goal. You understand what I'm saying? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Realest conversations on the net, man. Be more for real. Make sure y'all hit that like, share, subscribe button. We on our way to 1K. Let's do it. Let's run it up, man. For real. Realest conversations on the net. If you disagree, let us know too. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we're not above reproach. So nothing that we're saying is absolute, is not set in stone. But one thing that is absolute is that the people fear the government. And let's just talk about it. Let's be for real. Let's be more for real. Let's look at the IRS. The United States doesn't own the IRS, but at any time they can garnish your payments, levy your bank accounts. You know the commercial, you know what they say, the IRS and all that. If you don't owe them, if you got to pay them taxes and whatnot. And so the IRS, not owned by the United States. The Federal Reserve, not owned by the United States. And the Federal Reserve actually prints our money. So remember, I'm telling you, this show is made to deep programming to what you've been programmed to. So a lot of this stuff may sound crazy to you. And you know what's crazy? You know what's even more crazier? The truth sounds stranger than fiction. It does. It absolutely does. It gets wild. It gets messy. It gets real messy, especially when you talk about the elites of society and the plans and agendas that they have for us and us as a people, period. So We can cut all the BS out, and we can look and observe things in real time and see what's going on with the government. The people fear the government. This is why people don't want to speak out and all that stuff. The government does things. But if we are law-abiding citizens, it is written that we, the people, have the power to change government. I'm gonna clap that up. I'm gonna clap that up one time. I'm gonna clap that up one time. And I'm gonna repeat that again. We, the people, have the power to change government. That's ultra important because in this type of role and in this type of capacity in society, especially as Black people, we have to kind of jump out there and take the lead on things. We got to take the initiative up front, and we got to dare to be different. Just like Ice Cube was contract for Black America. I know y'all like how I brought that back around. Come on, man. I know y'all like how I brought that back around. Just like Ice Cube's contract for Black America. You gotta dare to be different. We just do. Because we all following the news. We all following what the entertainment has done for us. And what is crazy is, like I said, the CIA and the government owns this stuff. So they are basically putting propaganda out to the people. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, look, we can discuss it. It's BMore4Real. But the government literally has its hands in everything that goes on inside and outside of its borders. Seriously. They have his hand in a whole lot more stuff all around the world. And this is why the president of the United States is also the leader of the free world. See how that makes sense? I'm told you this, BMore4Real. Look, if I'm lying, I am flying. But one thing I'm not going to do is get up here and talk and trying to be a panda bear and pander to the people and play politics with the people, because it's not going to have a positive reinforcement. See, we've been living in those fairy tales for a long time. See, the people they have itching ears. They want to hear what they want to hear. But when you tell them the truth, when you speaking stuff that's the truth, and you tell them, then that's when all the backlash starts to happen. That's when people start to get on the offensive. You know what I'm saying? They get to getting defensive. You feel what I'm saying? Because they are offended. Now they get defensive because they're offended. And we're not offended no more by the truth. Matter of fact, we welcome and we embrace the truth here at BMore4Real. So it don't matter what background you come from, white, Black, Creole, Swahili, don't matter. The Bantu tribes, it don't matter where you come from. New Zealand, it just doesn't matter. Real is real. And we're going to continue to push the realest information on the net. But now check this out. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. But when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. One thing I'm going to stress, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm telling you, I got y'all. We're going to go over the attack on English. And the reason why it's so important to get that out. Look, the attack on English, man, get us to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all are going to be intrigued by this series. But the attack on English is kind of sort of like what I'm talking about as well. I've actually had a conversation with one of the mayor candidates, and I was asking him as well. I was saying, why is the law written in a way where people do not understand it? Now, remember I was telling you, when the people fear the government and all that stuff, keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your head, because that's very important. When the government fears the people, there's liberty. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny. So I asked this person, I was like, why is the law written in a language where people don't understand? And that's what this person told me. This person said, so that the powers that may be, such as myself, will have control over the people. And that was very fascinating, because now look, remember I told you I'm not really into arguing and things like that. Let us reason. Let us reason. Check this out. If we don't know the laws as American citizens, how can we say that we are law-abiding citizens? I mean, at any point, they can slap you with any charge and charge you with some BS that we didn't even know was a goddamn law. That doesn't disturb you. If it didn't disturb you yesterday, make sure it disturb you today. Make sure today you are awakened. Like, think about that. How can I be a law-abiding citizen when I don't know all the laws? And that's very fascinating. Like, can we really say that the government is for the people? And I'm not just talking about black people, I'm talking about the people of America. Can we really say that the government is for the people when we look at the foods and mass productions? Back in the day, people used to have chicken coops. They had chickens, they had eggs, they had their own farms and all that stuff. Now we are so dependent on the markets and things like that. Notice how when 2019 happened and the virus happened, and how meats and stuff was missing from the markets, essentials, and how desperate people were to get certain essential items and all that stuff, especially in the north. This is the purpose of the program, to deprogram you too. Look, we need to learn how to hunt, especially in the north. We need to know how to set traps, set internets ourselves, but to make food. We need to know how to recycle rainwater and all that stuff if it's legal. I've heard a lot of things about that. Recycling rainwater may be illegal. I looked it up. I didn't really find anything, but like I said, like how the government is, we don't know all the laws. They could say, shoot, if you collect more than 2 liters of rainwater, you going to jail or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just making that up. I'm not saying that's true, but they can literally slap you with a charge at any time because you don't know the charges as the people. And it's like, is the Constitution really in effect, or is it something else? Because I believe that in the Constitution, the very first amendment said we got the right of freedom of speech, freedom of press, and all that stuff. But like I said, I had to censor some things. I can't even say everything I want to say because freedom of speech is obviously an illusion. If I start to talk about the 2019 cases with the diseases that were spreading globally, I could be in big trouble. That's not freedom of speech. You understand what I'm saying? Like that very amendment right there. Look at amendment number 2. We have the right to bear arms. It does not say if you're a felon or anything. It doesn't say anything like that. It say that we have the right to bear arms. It say that we have the right to travel. It don't say that you need a passport, a license, or anything. So my question is what laws are being I don't want to say enacted, but what laws are being enforced on the people? Is it the law of the land? Is it the Constitution? Because I don't see the Constitution playing out too much in the law and the government. Now, like I said, I'm not above reproach. So I know there are lawyers and things like that. And we do have some people that are in the government that listen to our program. So correct me if I'm wrong. But which law are we going to? Do we have the right to travel? Do we have the right to bear arms? Do we have the freedom of speech? Or do we don't have it? Is are all these things an illusion? And so on a reasonable level, I would argue that we are not being judged and we're not being judged and enforced based on the constitutional laws. It's other laws that take place that are in effect that we are being judged by. And what's crazy is if the law is about justice, right? And it was about the truth, then why the heck would we need a lawyer to represent us in court, especially if we are telling the truth? Now that makes no sense. If you know, you ain't do nothing wrong, and you go to a judge and you say, "Look, I don't need a lawyer. I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna represent myself." Yeah, you see how that worked out for you, even though you're telling the truth and all that. Yeah, buddy. See how that works out for you, and let me know. Let us know in the chat how that works out for you when you choose to represent yourself. That's my issue. That's what this program is made to do. To spark you to think. You gotta think. You gotta think. Because they thinking for us. That's what the TVs, that's what these shows are for. And I know y'all sitting there watching me, which I appreciate, by the way. I know people are sitting there watching me, but yet and still, it's not the internet in and of itself that's corrupt. It's what you watch and what you choose to entertain yourself with. And it's not even just entertainment. Sometimes we watch this stuff, but other people actually play out what they see. And I've been saying it, and I would say it over and over, and I'm gonna say it again today. See, life imitates art, and art imitates life. I'm gonna say that again. Life imitates art, and art imitates life. That's why we got a bunch of delusional people around here parading like they're on TV when they're not. You wonder how these people live life like they on GTA. They be out here flying around doing stupid stuff. I mean, you balling in the snow and the snow and in the rain. You driving 70, 80 miles an hour on a residential road like a maniac because you're delusional. We are living life like we're in a cartoon. We've been sold all these fantasies and all of these dreams. And I'm gonna tell you what, another quote that somebody said as well. You know, they call it an American dream because you gotta be asleep to believe that. You gotta be even asleep to see it. Because what we see in America is not is not reality. Less than what 10% of the people in America make over $150,000 a year or whatever. Less than 10%. So all these people that's faking on Instagram and faking on YouTube and faking on Facebook, a lot of them are broke just like us. But what we see is an illusion. Therefore, we try to be like them. We try to do what they're doing. We try to be like them. And they are focused trying to be like us. Remember, life imitates art, art imitates life. They got to make those movies. They got to make those games. They got to make it as realistic to real life as possible, or else it'll be totally unrelatable. Even the alien movies, it has to have some type of humanistic characteristics to it, or else it's very unrelatable. But see, now we are in a conditioning phase. The government has now conditioned us to not bark back. Like I said, notice during the pandemic, when people say, oh no, I'm not wearing a mask and all that stuff, the government like, look, you don't got a right to do that. But what law says that? What law says that? And far as I know, people were wearing masks and still got COVID. They still got it. So as far as I'm concerned, they still don't know how it's spreading. And now they got different variations of it. And people have been inoculated to prevent from getting it and still got it and still passed on. I'm telling you, BMore4Real. My mother passed away from it in 2022, in January 2022, at the back end of it. And I was seeing people post for a long time. You know anybody that died from it? You know anybody that died from it? I was like, no. And then the worst luck had struck. You know, it struck my mom, and I was like, dang, took her straight on up out of here. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. And you know, these are people that don't even really go outside. They don't deal with other people. It's spreading some type of other way. But that's just my opinion on that. We just gonna say that that's my opinion on that, just for the record, so I'm not in trouble. But like I said, nonetheless, we definitely appreciate all of our streamers and viewers. This is the realest conversations on the net. I know it's hard to keep up sometimes with the conversation, but like I said, sometimes these conversations will get deep, and because we're talking about things that people don't typically talk about, sometimes it can go over people's heads. But what I would encourage our viewers to do is to go back over on our episodes. We talk about a lot of these things over and over again, and a lot of times we have been repetitive with it, and we've actually been, I don't want to say prophetic, but we have said some things that have happened before it even occurred to try to get people to see. So back on, like I was saying, like back on this government, the government really can't be for us when we have foods and stuff like that. They're not telling us that sugar is more addictive than crack cocaine. It's more addictive than heroin. Look, I'm telling you, food addiction is a thing. That's why they are genetically modifying the foods and all that. Some things are for beneficial reasons to the earth and things like that, to preserve the animals. Okay, whatever. However they want, whatever guise they want to disguise it as or whatever, that's fine. But what I'm just stating facts here, so correct me if I'm wrong. But sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup, is more addictive than cocaine and heroin. Matter of fact, most Americans have more than a daily recommended amount of sugar per day on a daily basis. And you actually have withdrawals, bad withdrawals from sugar, just like any other drug that you may or may not have taken. So they're not telling us this, but they're giving it to us constantly. They're giving it to us constantly. They're making us depend and rely on them constantly, which is why I'm here telling you guys this. There's a lot of things that need to be done to prevent ourselves from a government takeover. And I know it sounds crazy, but I could have swore in the Constitution and say, look, we got a right to bear arms and stuff like that in case of a government invasion, in case of a government takeover. Now, I must say on the flip side, because I've heard the other side of this argument as well, and someone on the internet, I seen them, I don't know their name, but it's not important, but the message, I got to give you the other side. The message was said that when the government did fear the people, it gave rise to people like Hitler and Stalin and Napoleon and people like that in society. They actually came out of governments where the governments feared the people. And these people rose out of said organizations, which was fascinating. And I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't fact check it, but it's my duty as being more for real that was brought to my attention that there are instances in history where the government actually feared the people and it gave rise to people like Stalin, Hitler, and Napoleon and other people like that. So that's a serious thing. I gotta put that information out there just because. Now, I'm just dealing with what Thomas Jefferson was saying when the government fears the people. Now, why is it such a bad thing if we're saying that, okay, the people have the power to change government? The government is messing up right here. See, it's like the most essential things that we need to know and that the government should teach us, they're keeping from us. Why don't we know how to file our taxes? Why do we need to go to somebody else to file our taxes, much like we need somebody to represent us in court? We don't know the taxes. We don't know the laws. We don't know none of this crap. I want cuss, and I really can, but I'm not. But we don't know none of this crap. And it's very frustrating. It really do make me want to cuss. It's extremely frustrating. And it's really frustrating that it seems as though I'm one of the very few people that actually look at the government like that and can scrutinize the government like that. It's like everybody else is having the government think for them, or they want to basically fall back and shy back because they don't want that smoke. In other words, you know what I'm talking about? They don't want that smoky smoke. They say, nah, they got diversion lungs. For real. We gonna go ahead and clap that up, man. They definitely don't want the smoke whatsoever. But if you looking at this, man, if you looking live, definitely make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This is the realest conversation on the net. I guarantee you, you won't find this content, you won't find this conversation anywhere else. And it's for some people, it's a breath of fresh air. For other people, they get enraged and offended. And I'm gonna tell you, both people are welcome on this channel. Both people are welcome on this station. It's Be More For Real, brought to you by way of Real Explosions, man. We have the realest conversations on the net. These conversations are important. And to bring it full surface, like I was saying as well, Ice Cube, like when he had the contract with Black America, he said, look, these things that's in the contract of Black America they are not above reproach. If they have to be disputed, if they have to be amended, then we will go through that process as a people. So it's not concrete, it's not absolute by any means. This is just a generalization and a typical standard of what we expect as a people. And so we need the people to get on board. I'm telling you, we are only as strong as our weakest link. We are only as strong as our weakest link. When we have people out here like Ice Cube, we need to get behind them. We can't let stuff like religion, we can't let stuff like politics sit there and divide us to the point where as though we can't make things happen as a people. That's what the devil does. He divides and conquers. It's not just because this person ain't Christian or this person ain't because this person Muslim or this person Hindu. Now we can't get along. I hate you, and when I see you, it's on sight. That is the stupidest idea ever. It's ignorant. It's stupid and it's ignorant. And to be honest with you, it's not even of the Most High. You can't be so heavenly minded that you don't do the earth no good. We all here on the same earth. We got to take care of this planet. If one person think that, oh, I could just throw my junk, I could just litter. I throw my trash in the ocean, it doesn't matter. And the other person say, look, somebody got to clean the ocean up. And we got to eat out of this ocean. You might not even eat seafood. But the fact of the matter is we can't be polluting the earth and the ocean and expect to get anything good from this planet. So there are certain things that universally make sense and that universally fits us as a people. And one of those things that's universal, that should be taught is, well, some people like to say God. I like to say Yah. Other people like to say good, orderly direction. However you want to put it, however you want to slice it, that's what we need as a people. And especially as Black people, that's why we're not taken serious as a nation. Notice how other people, not all Nigerians are Christians, not all of them are Buddhist or Muslim, not all of them are that. But when you know what, we see one people when we see the Nigerians, when we see the Asian people, not all of them are even from China, but we see that some of them, they might be from Vietnam, some of them might be from, South Korea, whatever, they might be Korean, or whatever the case may be. But we see them as one people. They don't all share the same religion, same customs, cultures, none of that stuff. But they make stuff happen as a people. We see them as Asians, and really we say Chinese, which is improper. I forgot the term what you call it, but it's informal, it's improper. It's it begin with a D, I think. The word I'm looking for. Don't quote me. Like I said, I get names wrong. I mess them up all the time. It's derogatory. That's the word I'm looking for. It's derogatory. But yet and still, as I digress, these are the conversations that we need to have. We need to have a serious conversation with the government. We need to be able to sit down with the people, with the politicians, and connect with them on a personal level and be like, look, yo, why this messed up, yo? Why we don't know the laws, yo? Why we need somebody else to represent us, yo? We got to challenge this. We got to give some type of pushback as a people, not just black people, but as people that's in America. We got to give some type of pushback. What happened to the chicken coops? Why are we so reliant on the government for medicine? Why is it so bad that if you go to somebody like Dr. Sabian, the herbalist, they're going to try to get them for, they took Dr. Sabian to court and they did their due diligence and try to charge him whatever they tried to charge him with. So that was a real thing. This stuff is not made up. It's just that we are being propagated with social media, with entertainment. There's so much propaganda that we can't focus as a people because the lines are being distorted between reality and virtuality. That's why social media is so crazy that somebody can be one way in front of you today, but on social media, they a whole nother different way. They a whole nother different person. Like especially those racist people and extremely prejudiced people. And like I said, we'll get into the tag on English. I don't care if y'all agree with me or not. Black people can't be racist. We're not racist. I don't give a damn what you're saying. If you got something to say it in the public so the public can see it, so the people can see it. Don't just say, "Oh, you wrong" and everything. No, if you got something to say and you disagree, put it there so we can at least know. Or if you want to remain anonymous, you can Google us, you can hit us on the inbox, and we can bring you up on the chat amongst the people, and we can let the people decide. Because, like I said, we're not here to try to force anything. We're not here to put the propaganda on the people and to push our ideologies on people either. This be more for real. If you have a disagreement or discrepancy, let us know. Everything we say is not the truth. We're not speaking in absolutes. We're not above reproach. So, like I said, be more for real. The realest conversations on the net each and every single Wednesday. I do have to say this though. Let's go ahead. Uh, let's go. I don't have the flyer, but okay. So I meant to add that flyer to the live stream. But on July the 27th, that's a Saturday. You know, Big Dog Entertainment. They're hosting a big time showcase with a lot of the big time artists, up and coming artists, and around Baltimore. It's a huge event. It's gonna be DJ by my man's DJ Icy V, man. You already know he was on the show actually as well too, man. I appreciate it. He was one of the first guests on the show, if I'm not mistaken, all the way back when now. But those guys doing their things. Be more for real. We'll be one of the sponsors for the event. There will be vendors there. It'll be a lot going on. Last time, man, it was packed. The house, the crowd, it was jam packed. So make sure y'all go ahead, July 27th. Save the date if you're an artist, you want to be on there and be in the showcase. Definitely hit up Big Dog Entertainment. Hit up my man Dion on Instagram or however you can follow him on his social medias. I believe to get in there you have to click their link, their Eventbrite link, and you can be added into the show. Go ahead and follow the instructions. You'll be added into the show. But anyway, this Be More for Real. Realest conversation on the net. We're gonna go ahead and clap it up for us, man. Be more for real. I carried it. I had to carry this by myself today, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? There's still a lot to be said. There's still a lot of conversation to be had. But keep it locked with us. Like I said, it's the realest conversation on the net. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription. If you're listening to it live, go ahead and hit the like button. It only take you a second. Make sure you hit that like button so we can jump up in that algorithm. We on our road to 1K. Be more for real. This is the realest conversation on the net. Rated R for reality. I am your host, OMG Danny, and we're gonna catch you guys next Wednesday, man. We appreciate you always.